snap it, and then I'll. All right,
Rolling.
Slammer. Okay, you finish up with your version of the nasty
Okay.
story.
Okay. So I've had an awful lot of interesting experiences in the Tomcat. I flew for 25 years, or I was in the Navy for 25 years. I flew the Tomcat for probably 17 of those years. And one of the more memorable episodes was as a student pilot going through the F-14 RAG, you have one opportunity to sit in the back seat. And it was what was called the Air Combat Maneuvering One Flight, or the flip-flop hop. And the instructor pilot would sit in the front seat and take the airplane through its paces, take it through all the edge of the envelope type flying. And you'd sit as an instructor or a student pilot, you'd sit in the back and you'd watch everything. And then you'd come back and you'd swap seats and get a full bag of gas, and you'd go back out and do it again. So we were on the first phase of that training flight, and I'm sitting in the back seat, and Nasty Manazar is in the front seat, my instructor. And we go through all the paces of the Tomcat, and it's flying beautifully, and we're taking it to the edge of the envelope. And we finish all the necessary maneuvers that we were supposed to cover, but we still had some gas left over. And Nasty calls back and says, "Hey, what do you think? You want to do anything else?" I go, "Yeah, let's go see that zero airspeed departure again." And what a zero airspeed departure is you start at maybe 5,000 feet or 10,000 feet at 500 knots. You put it right on its tail, you go as high as you can, and then you run out of airspeed and you start falling backwards. And in this case, Nasty was trying to keep it on its tail as best as it could and maybe have it fall on its back. And so that was the plan. We were all excited about doing it. We started up. The airplane was flying perfectly, losing airspeed. And as it was starting to fall backwards, we lost the left motor. And we had a compressor stall, and so now we don't have any thrust coming out of that motor, full thrust coming out of the opposite motor. And we fall on our back. And as we fall on our back, we start into an inverted spin. And so we weren't really expecting that. But after about 2 rotations or a rotation and a half, airplane rights itself back up, but stays into a flat spin. And so now we go through spin recovery procedures. And as a student pilot, I know all the spin recovery procedures. And so we're going back, challenge and response, and the airplane is just staying in the spin. And we're not getting out of it. So I'm calling off altitude, calling off airspeed. I'm seeing the nose drop and telling this to Nasty, and he's telling me what he's seeing. And I'm seeing a flashing spin arrow in the back. And I call out 10,000 feet, because 10,000 feet is the point when you're supposed to eject if you're out of control. And the nose is dropping at the same time, and so we stay with it. And we go down to about 8,600 feet, and the nose comes right back up to the horizon, and now we've lost the other engine, and now it's really, there's really no option at this point. So he goes, "Stand by, we need to eject." So the first step in the ejection sequence is for the Rio, the back seater, to pull the canopy and blow that. So I did that, and I think I'm the only Rio that has ever done that actually in an ejection sequence. At least that's what I'll say. And no one on this movie can contradict me. But then I decided to lean forward and see where the lower handle is. And the last thing you want to do before an ejection is not be in a perfectly upright and vertical position. Because as you eject, it's about 28 Gs, and you go racing out of the cockpit. I didn't get that brief. So I was leaning over when Nasty pulled the seat, or pulled the handle, and in the Tomcat, the back seat goes first. And so as I'm looking down, he pulls the handle, and my head stays there, but my ejection seat goes up, and so I get, my head snaps, and I get knocked out. And so I don't know what's going on until all of a sudden you have seat-man separation, the seat separates from you, and then the parachute automatically opens up. And the opening shot from the parachute woke me up. And so all of a sudden, student naval aviator, in a chute. And the first thing you do is you grab to hang on to this thing. And the second thing you do is you look down and you see your airplane with nobody in the cockpit and it's spinning. And then you sit there and think, huh. So here I am. And I look over, I see Nasty, and he's in his parachute. So we both signal to each other. And in the recovery procedures, you remember the acronym IROK. You inflate your life vest first, then you release your seat pan so that you have a life raft and your radio and everything available and can climb into a life raft when you're in the water. And then you do options. And the options can be whatever. You save your gloves, you take off your mask, you do other things. One of them is that you can pull these little handles and you can start to steer the parachute. And so we're just up in the air. We got a long time to go, so well, might as well fly around a little bit. And so I start tugging on my parachute, and I noticed this whole time that whatever I did, Nasty would be doing the same thing. And so when I get to the point where I start steering, I look across the way, and he starts steering as well. And the only time I was ever terrified during this entire event was when both of our parachutes started to aim toward each other. And as I'm turning left, the parachute's turning left, and now we're coming right at each other, and I can, at the same altitude, and I am terrified that our parachutes are going to hit, and we're going to fall up the rest of the 7,000 feet to our deaths in the water. And at that point, I'm yanking as hard as I can to turn it. He's doing the same. And as we pass in close proximity, it's like, I'm not getting near you ever again. End up in the water, we get rescued and live to tell another story. Way too long, but hey.
No, it's good. It's good.
Please like and share if you find the video content interesting. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and comment below so as not to miss new upcoming videos. Thanks for watching.